I've been done with Ye since.
You hear about slavery for 400 years? For 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
And everything he said and done since like 2013 has made it clear that he does not care about the black community. From Confederate flags and swastikas on clothing, MAGA hats, White Lives Matter shirts, anti-black statements, cozying up to white supremacists, becoming a puppet for anti-black influencers like Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, idolizing Hitler.
I like Hitler. I do not. The Holocaust is not what happened. Let's look at the facts of that. And Hitler has a lot of redeeming qualities.
Praising Nazis.
You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. The Jew, I love everyone. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
And in the process, inspiring an entire generation of black and brown alt-right white supremacists.
Jews mad! Jews mad! They don't understand the things I say on Twitter.
People like Sneeko, Myron, Andrew Tate, they're all despicable and hateful people that spread anti-black rhetoric on their platforms. And they are riding the black Nazi wave that Ye created.
Nigga, Heil Hitler. Heil Hitler. Do you notice nobody had any negative feedback about it?
I think one of the most lied about figures in history. I definitely think by far one of the most lied about figures in history.
You know, I'm kind of thinking we should bring the Nazi salute back.
That's why I personally would never rock with Ye again. And this is coming from a day one college dropout fan who through his run up until my Twisted Dark Fantasy in 2010, Kanye was my favorite rapper. I've had major life milestones that played out to Kanye's music. But at the end of the day, I'm pro-black and I care about my community. And I don't think we should be supporting someone that doesn't rock with us and has given white supremacists a cosign. So when I see that Kanye took out a full-page ad apologizing for his racist, anti-Semitic past, the one thing I noticed is he didn't really apologize to the black community. We didn't get an apology, just a my bad for letting y'all down, when he did way more than that.
Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all.
But I'm Jew, welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it. So Kanye took out a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal to publicize his apology and to try to walk back all his Nazi support, which there's no walking that back at this point. To those I've heard, 25 years ago, I was in a car accident that broke my jaw and caused an injury to the right frontal lobe of my brain. At the time, my focus was on visible damage, the fracture, the swelling, and the immediate physical trauma. The deeper injury, the one inside my skull, went unnoticed. I know this apology just started, but it feels like he's already about to blame his Nazi, white supremacist, racist, anti-black, anti-Semitic behavior on anything other than his actual self. Comprehensive scans were not done, neurological exams were limited, and the possibility of a frontal lobe injury was never raised. I wasn't properly diagnosed until 2023. That medical oversight caused serious damage to my mental health and led to my bipolar 1 diagnosis. Yes, a traumatic brain injury, TBI, or head injury can trigger or increase the risk of developing bipolar disorder, with research showing a clear link between brain trauma and onset mood episodes. Though it's multifactorial and depends on injury location and severity. Bipolar disorder comes with its own defense system. Denial. When you're manic, you don't think you're sick. You think everyone else is overreacting. You feel like you're seeing the world more clear than ever, when in reality, you're losing your grip entirely. Once people label you as crazy, you feel as if you cannot contribute anything meaningful to the world. It's easy for people to joke and laugh it off when it comes to the fact this is a very serious, debilitating disease that you can die from. According to the WHO and Cambridge University, people with bipolar disorder have a life expectancy that is shortened by 10 to 15 years on average, and 2 to 3 times higher all-cause mortality rate than the general population. This is on par with severe heart disease, type 1 diabetes, HIV, and cancer, all lethal and fatal if left untreated. I lost touch with reality. Things got worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. Some of the people I love the most, I treated the worst. You endure fear, confusion, humiliation, trying to have someone who was at times unrecognizable. Looking back, I became detached from my true self. In that fractured state, I gravitated toward the most destructive symbol I could find, the swastika. Time out. If this man is about to blame becoming a Nazi on a head injury 24, 25 years ago that led to bipolar disorder, I'm going to throw my computer. I'm going to throw my computer. Because what the fuck? I guess now was a good enough time as any to tell you. I grew up in a single parent household, and that single parent had undiagnosed bipolar disorder. So I saw it all, heard it all, especially when I was 12, 13 years old. I saw the peaks, the confidence, unstoppableness, ready for the world, can do anything. I saw the valleys, the uncontrollable depression, sadness, wanting to not be here anymore. And as a kid, living with that parent by myself, I went through a lot. Like a lot. And there's some trauma I experienced in those years that I've never been able to forget. And because of those years, I made a lot of mistakes in life just trying to get away from that pain and depression I felt myself as a kid. I say all that to say that I saw this firsthand. My feelings and opinions come from a place of experience. So I know that a person under those conditions may not be themselves. They may not be their best selves. And while a person hurt by them in their different states can absolutely forgive them, that does not remove or erase the scars or the hurt or harm that was caused during those different states or manic episodes. So while sure I can acknowledge that Kanye probably has mental struggles, if it's bipolar or whatever else he says it is, I feel bad for him and I hope he gets better. But in the same breath, I can also say it does not excuse being anti-black, saying anti-black things on the world stage, and siding and co-signing with racist, white supremacists, and other people that push anti-black rhetoric. It does not excuse him praising Hitler or Nazis, putting swastikas on shirts, putting the Confederate flag on shirts, siding with Maga, making Trump look cool to a whole population of people that aren't thinking for themselves. Maybe they're too young. Maybe they'll just do whatever Kanye says. It doesn't excuse him making somebody like Elon Musk or Nick Fuentes cool to an entire population of people that don't know any better but to like them because Kanye likes them. It doesn't excuse songs like Hail Hitler being a neo-Nazi theme song at this point. It does not excuse him creating an entire genre of black Nazi MAGA influencers that we have to deal with, that we have to fight back against. What he went through is sad. It's tough. I understand. I saw it firsthand. But nothing that he brought into the world is excused by his diagnosis or lack thereof. We can have empathy but still want accountability. And even so, t-shirts bearing it. One of the difficult aspects of having bipolar type 1 are the disconnected moments, many of which I still cannot recall. That led to poor judgment and am deeply mortified by my actions in that state and am committed to accountability, treatment, and meaningful change. It does not excuse what I did though. It doesn't. It doesn't even come close to excusing the things that Kanye did and to the evil and ignorance he brought into this world because people got the okay and co-sign from him to be anti-black, racist, anti-Semitic, or white supremacist, MAGA, a Nazi, any of it. It does not excuse what I did though. I am not a Nazi or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people. So are we just gonna pretend like these never happened? First off, the swastika shirt is just outrageous till this day. How hard he was pushing Nazism does not get erased or made right by an ad taken out in the Wall Street Journal of all things. I'm a Nazi. I love Hitler. Now what, bitches? I'm racist. Stereotypes exist for a reason and they all be true. Fuck Virgil. I remember reading these and just being completely baffled that the only thing people got mad at was fuck Virgil. I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all don't see what this man is saying? He loves Hitler. He said it multiple times. Now what, bitches? Because he's challenging people because he's Kanye and nobody can say anything to him. None of this gets erased with that apology. To the black community, which held me down through all the highs and lows and the darkest times. And he's actually not wrong there because so many black people held this man down and I don't understand why. Super anti-black, spread anti-blackness, collabing and co-signing with people that hate black people, that outwardly despise black people. The Nick Fuentes and Myrons, perfect examples of that. Any black people still holding Kanye down are partly responsible for how far he went to the alt-right because he felt like he could do anything and still have fans, which was true. Kanye really should have been done with most black people with slavery was a choice and the Confederate flag clothing and the MAGA support. All of that, and I understand we're not a monolith. I'm not the voice for black people. Everybody can speak for themselves. But as far as I'm concerned, saying slavery was a choice and then laughing about it, aligning with MAGA, co-signing white supremacists was all just a bridge too far. I don't care how great music Kanye makes. I don't care what moments of my life his music was there for or represented. At a certain point, you have to support your people, even if one of your favorite people is going against the community. The black community is unquestionably the foundation of who I am. I am sorry to have let you down. I love us. Let me be clear. In those paragraphs, Kanye acknowledged specifically an itemized list of things that he's done against the Jewish community or that could have hurt the Jewish community. He didn't even take the time or effort to say how he hurt the black community, to say aligning with white supremacists, saying slavery was a choice, putting Confederate flags on clothes, siding with all these things he's done. He doesn't even take the time to apologize to the black community for the ways that he hurt many people in the black community. This is not a real apology to us. We're an afterthought. He took that full page ad out in the Wall Street Journal of all places to apologize to to the Jewish community, which makes me think his bank account is running low. Maybe those revenue streams aren't streaming anymore after his DEFCON tweet on Jewish people. And basically, he just wants to get back in their good graces to get his business and money back where it needs to be. So I don't know how genuine any of this is. It's some YouTubers and content creators out there. Kanye could literally come in their house and slap their mom, and they would still play his music, still say it's the greatest thing ever, still say he's the greatest artist ever, and take everything with a grain of salt. Completely ignore him being racist, a Nazi, anti-Semitic, anti-black, everything, and still love Kanye for the music he makes. It's not enough. At a certain point, you gotta stand for something or you're gonna fall for everything, which is what they're doing if they buy this apology. And I'm not alone in feeling like that. I haven't lost touch with reality, so Mr. Slavery Was a Choice can get fucked. He is suspect for the rest of his life. He sold shirts with swastikas and released a song called Hail Hitler. There's no going back now. Again, this started in 2013 with the Confederate flag shirts. And up until last year, he was recording Hail Hitler. That's not an old song. The concept of making the song praising Hitler and then blaming it on a car crash from 24 years ago. Yeah, that's tough to look over. And then the fact he's inspired, motivated so many people. His song is literally the racist, white supremacist, neo-Nazi theme song. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. Don't trust Kanye. Y'all should be very aware of his rollouts by now. This is the 100th apology. He knows what the fuck he's doing. I gotta agree with that, even though I don't know if this is the 100th apology. The black community has never gotten an apology from Kanye. Not honestly. You guys think Kanye picked the Wall Street Journal to apologize because he thought a publication about money would reach the most. Not only reach the most, but possibly reach the community that he's trying to reach. Nah, bro, we not falling for it. My only thought on that apology is letting the black community down is not the same as owning the anti-blackness itself. Fact. If you can't name the harm, you're not actually apologizing. When it came to his anti-Semitic comments, he didn't dance around it. He named it directly. That's my sentiment exactly. He didn't say what he was apologizing to the black community for other than letting us down. What does that mean? Not only did he hurt people directly and indirectly, but he planted the seeds of all the anti-blackness popularized with influencers that we see today because he gave so many of the wrong people cosigns and made them think they were cool and gave them a platform. In early 2025, I fell into a 4-month-long manic episode of psychotic, paranoid, and impulsive behavior that destroyed my life. As the situation became increasingly unstable, there were times I didn't want to be here anymore. Having bipolar disorder is a notable state of constant mental illness. When you go into a manic episode, you are ill at that point. When you are not in an episode, you are completely normal, and that's when the wreckage from the illness hits the hardest. Hitting rock bottom a few months ago, my wife encouraged me to finally get help. I have found comfort in Reddit forums of all places. That's not the place Kanye should be. He's somebody that's so easily manipulated into becoming a Nazi. Different people speak of being in manic or depressive episodes of a similar nature. I doubt any of them became alt-right white supremacist Nazis. I read their stories and realized I was not alone. It's not just me who ruins their entire life once a year, despite taking meds every day and being told by the so-called best doctors in the world that I am not bipolar, but merely experiencing symptoms of autism. I can't speak to that, but taking meds every day, I know personally didn't work for my parent. They needed an injectable, a shot that lasted longer. I think that lasts 30 days because one of the problems with medication when it comes to bipolar and other disorders like that is once you take the medication, you feel great and you feel like you don't need it anymore. And then you go off the medication and have episodes. Again, just speaking from my own experience and what I saw in my life. My words as a leader in my community have global impact and influence. In my mania, I lost complete sight of that. You want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt, but Kanye has done so much over so many years, such a long term, that it's hard to believe that every time he came out and said something anti-black or anti-Semitic or did something racist or made a whole clothing line, that he was in a manic episode or a manic state. As I find my new baseline and new center through effective medication, therapy, exercise, and clean living, I have newfound much needed clarity. I am pouring my energy into positive, meaningful art, music, clothing, design, and other new ideas to help the world. Help the world? He surely hurt the world with all that stuff previously. I'm not asking for sympathy or free pass, though I aspire to earn your forgiveness. I write today simply to ask for your patience and understanding as I find my way home. With love, Ye. I really do think Kanye influenced most of the weirdo, alt-right, white supremacist behavior that we see today online. How many people looked up to him that saw the way he was moving and said, cool, if Kanye's doing it, I'ma do it too. We have influencers like Sneeko, Myron, Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate, who all have adopted Kanye's right-wing, fuck black people, MAGA, white supremacist wave. We cannot ignore this. There's gonna be a big portion of the black community that forgives Kanye, that takes him back, and it's gonna be the same portion that never really gave a fuck what he said or did about us, or how he was moving affected black black people as a whole. But I think for the majority of us, this apology rings hollow. I hope Ye gets his life together, gets his health together, and flourishes. But yeah, this apology ain't enough. Shout out to my channel members. Thanks for supporting, and thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.